watching. We're here to attend a lovely event that's come about thanks to two of our wonderful supporters, Charles and Lauren Price. And Lauren here is going to introduce our special speaker. And then afterwards, we'll have time for some questions. And if you have questions online, please put them in the chat afterwards. I'm going to hand over to Lauren. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm very honored and proud to have Rabbi Jaffe here with us, Rabbi Hirshel Jaffe. He was the rabbi in my congregation growing up in Newburgh, New York. And he's someone that I've always admired, and I'm thrilled that we were able to bring him here so that he can share some of his wonderful stories with all of us. Well,
thank you. Thank you, Lauren. Shalom and welcome to everybody here and everybody in Zoom land. My nickname is the Running Rabbi for competing in the New York City 1978 marathon with a t-shirt with the logo, the Running Rabbi. And in 1980, I was the rabbi of the 52 hostages in Iran, which started on November 4th, 1979. That's the day of the Iranian revolutionaries, with 52 American hostages when they reached the walls of the American embassy in Teheran and held 444 days. So the whole world was engrossed with this story. That's when the TV program Nightline started, and it was radio late at night. I heard that there was a group of clergy and liberal people who were going to make a visit to the hostages. The group was led by Professor Norman Fora of the University of Missouri. So they went, but I found Dr. Fora, and I said, "Hi, Dr. Fora, I'm not a famous rabbi, but I hear you're forming a mission to visit the hostages in Iran." He said, "There are Jewish hostages?" I said, "Dr. Fora, yes. Barry Rosen, Black, and well," he said, "I'm not very religious, but go ahead, Rabbi. You're interested in going to visit the hostages?" I said, "Yes." So the next thing you know, I was invited to a meeting on the west side of Manhattan. The revolutionaries were there. Not okay. To see that I wasn't grandstanding. And the next thing you know, I was at Riverside Church in Manhattan with a group of and civilian leaders like that were labor, humanitarian, and so on. And we landed in Teheran, Mehabad Airport, and it was as big as Kennedy Airport, and all around, all the signs have been taken down, and just pictures of Khomeini and people with machine guns. That was our greeting. And they said, "So, Rabbi, would you like to greet the revolutionaries that came to take us to visit the hostages?" I said, "Sure." And I started to greet them in Hebrew. Oops, I switched to Arabic. And so we stayed at a hotel, which was called the Jerusalem Hotel, and now they called it the Glorious Hotel of the Revolution. And by the way, to calm myself down, being that I was a runner, I asked permission of the revolutionaries that were escorting us if I could jog. So I was jogging in Tehran to release the tension and ease my nerves. And so how I happened to have this mission to Tehran, Lauren's father heard about my mission and he sponsored me. And so I owe a lot to that family for enabling me to go on this special mission. But so that we were escorted by the militants. We were the only Westerners in Teheran then, and they were protecting us. They weren't going to. We were on a humanitarian visit. We were clergy and others, so we knew we were safe with them, but not so safe with the population, because what happened is that one day they took us in a van to see the parade demonstration, the celebration of the revolution, and there were 1 million Iranians, just like you saw on TV, chanting from the minaret. It was booming. There is no God but Allah, and my heart was pounding. And they set up some scaffolding for us as foreign visitors. I said, I don't think this was made by the Army Corps of Engineers. It looked a little shaky, and it was raining and gloomy. And sure enough, a few minutes after we were ensconced on the scaffolding, it collapsed and it crushed people underneath us. And luckily, I jumped off about, I don't know, 10 feet, landed, and next to me landed a Quaker lady who was on our mission from Pennsylvania, Pam. And she held my hand and said, I'm so scared, Rabbi. Can you do something? I said, okay, I'll tell you the story of my life. I was born in Brooklyn. So anyway, he was, at that point, we didn't remember where the hotel was. And we were wandering around this, and she was holding my hand, and some Iranian woman, disapprovingly, I say on that, in the leave. One of the things that of course, the with the tell comfort and visit the hostages, but we couldn't say that. You have to know how to speak in part. So I would say, so you guys came to see the hostages? I said, oh no. Well, we know you're taking good care of them. Have the microphone? Online. All right, here we go. So, what say everybody? Oh, all right. So we said to the, thanks, wife. We, no, we said, why do we want to see the hostages? We know you're taking very good care of them. That's the way you have to speak to the Iranian militants. So they took us all around. They took us to a cemetery where the martyrs were buried. They took us, and then they took us to the hospital where some of the people that were crushed in the parade collapse. And I actually prayed with one of the people in the hospital. And that video actually was preserved. It's part of the documentary. The BBC told the story of my visit to the hostages about 3-4 years ago on the 40th anniversary of my visit. So they, every day they were haranguing us with stories about the revolution, and they took it to a mosque. And there was an imam holding forth, and some of his tirades were very venomous against Israel and the Jews. And I couldn't contain myself. I said, I said to them partly in Arabic, if you call yourselves Rahmanim b'nei Rahmanim, compassionate ones, the sons of compassionate ones, why do you treat my people that way? So every question, they went into a huddle. They had to form a consensus of opinion. So they huddled, and a few minutes later, they said, we'll get back to you. Believe it or not, 10 months later, on the eve of the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, came a manila envelope from Teheran addressed to me. And we opened it very carefully. And in the letter it said, okay, Rabbi, if you are really a rabbi, and answer your question about how we will treat the Jews. If they behave themselves, they'll be accorded the rights of our citizens. If not, we will annihilate them. So that was the story of what happened in the mosque, and how we saw that we were there from February 5th to 16th. On Valentine's Day, came a knock at our door at 5 o'clock in the morning. I was rooming with a Methodist minister, and it was the militants. And they said, you clergy, wait here. We're going to take you to visit the people who were sick in the hospital or injured. And they left, and I said, Father Bremer, Jack, I know, that's just a cover story. I can tell them we're going to visit the hostages today. And sure enough, they came back. They took us down the stairs, just like an Alfred Hitchcock thriller, into a van, darkened van, and they went careening around the streets of Tehran. Actually, the American embassy was only 10 minutes away. And being that it was Valentine's Day, we asked the driver if they could stop, and we got candy and flowers to bring to the hostages. We approached the walls of the American embassy. It looked like students with machine guns guarding the place. And actually, the American embassy in Tehran was many, many acres. So they led us into a room, all blacked out with curtains and pictures of Khomeini. And finally, they brought in some of the hostages to meet with us. Actually, I brought with me some prayer books and the Jewish prayer book called the Haggadah for Passover. And I said, oh, I thought I was going to see the Jewish hostages. And they said, no, they didn't want to see you, or they're sick or something. Later, when I was in the White House, I learned it was a lie. It was just a ruse. So we asked the hostages how they were doing, and they said, okay. But I want to back up. Right before we went to see the hostages, us clergy gathered together for a prayer session. And one of the clergy that was invited was a radical priest from Omaha, Nebraska, Father Darrell Rupiper. And in the prayer session, he started to talk as if the hostages were dirty spies. And I said, Father Bremer, Father Rupiper, does it not say in your New Testament, judge not lest you be judged? And he says, yes, Rabbi. I said, Father, if you say one word to harm the morale of the hostages, I'm going to tell the whole world. And for no other reason, I felt that it was justified in going there. So then we see the hostages, and they said they were okay, but I knew that they weren't. I knew that they were under great pressure. And later, when I met them in the White House, when they were liberated and President Reagan invited me to greet them, they told me what really happened. Playing Russian roulette with them, telling their family doesn't care about them, telling them that members of the family had died. And the Jewish hostages were particularly roughed up. So when I returned from visiting the hostages, I visited the mother of one of the hostages. His name was Bill Dougherty. He was an American Marine. And I went to pray with her and comfort her and met with the other families. And I remember being on the CBS Evening News the day I came back, and Good Morning America. And I was sitting there in the studio with Eric Severide, who was a real serious broadcaster. And he's asking me what I thought would happen to the hostages. And I was really gripping my chair and thinking, oh my God, I hope I don't hurt the morale of the families. But I said, honestly, I think they're going to be there for a long time We better get ready for that. They're going to milk the story for all it's worth. Later, I met with the families and apologized to them. They said, "Don't apologize, Rabbi. You prepared us for the journey." Okay. So we visit with the hostages, and as we're about to leave, they handed me, I happen to be sitting in front, a big sheaf of envelopes on the stationery, ironically, the stationery of the United States Embassy, with letters that the hostages had written to their families and that we could take them back home. So I was taking the letters, and we were getting ready to leave, and the militants said to us, "Not so fast. We have to detain you." Why? "We have seen one of you receiving a secret message from one of the hostages." And I just knew they were aiming for me. I was wearing a yarmulke. They had it in for me. And I guess the best defense is a good offense. So I said, "Well, I demand to be searched. This is an insult to my clergy personage." Luckily, I had seen some of the people from the Israeli embassy and Mossad to prepare me for the mission. And I had their address and phone number in my address book, but I scratched it out that morning. Okay, that was the longest 15 minutes of my life, when they searched me real good. And with this Jewish sense of humor, I don't know what it is that we can laugh in difficult times. As we were leaving, I picked up my yarmulke and said, "You forgot to look under here, boys." Okay. So I was back in the United States, and I met with the families, and particularly one of the families who lived in Brooklyn was Barbara Rosen. Her husband was a press attaché at the embassy, Barry Rosen. He was one of the Jewish hostages, and he was anything but a dirty spy. He loved the Persian culture. He learned Farsi. That's why he was there. And everybody thought Barbara was Jewish. Actually, she was Methodist. But we would go around and speak and encourage people. And the families actually said to me that I prepared them, for the long haul. And I said, "Yes, it will be. But I think they will be released." Actually, at the very beginning, they released somebody who had either epilepsy or Parkinson's, and one of the black hostages. That was their gesture to humanity. So Barbara and I went around, we spoke, and then what happened is, she said, "Rabbi, I'm afraid that President Carter is going to do something dangerous. He's going to try to rescue them." And she said, "The American embassy is 23 acres. It's not like Entebbe, where the Israelis came in and got everybody out in one day." I said, "I think you're right." So I went to Washington, and I tried to speak to the people at the Iran desk. But at that time, it was just Jimmy Carter and Henry Kissinger, and nobody else counted. So I couldn't really reach them. And sure enough, there was an aborted mission. The American helicopters crashed in the desert, and nobody survived. So the hostages returned. They actually landed at the airport in Stewart Airport in Newburgh, where I was the rabbi. And I went with them. I went in their cavalcade. I narrated the New York parade with Mayor Koch. And then we were invited for the welcome ceremony in Washington for the freed Americans. And President Reagan gave me the honor of welcoming the hostages. And later he presented me with the Award of Courage in the Rose Garden. Just tomorrow, I'm going to speak about 2 years after that, I became a hostage to a rare leukemia. And Since then, I've survived cancer 5 times. And I shouldn't be here, but um, my mission in life is to do good in thanks to God for my life. There's a beautiful Hebrew prayer I'll mention tomorrow. It's just 4 Hebrew words. Baruch shegamalani kol tov. Blessed are you who has done me much good. And I must say that prayer 100 times a day. All right. So I'm back in my pulpit in Newburgh. About 2-3 years go by, and I get a call from a young man, and he said, would I marry him? It's an interfaith marriage. I said, yes, I would do that. I was one of the first rabbis in the Hudson Valley to perform interfaith marriages because I feel that it was wrong for me to turn people away because they weren't marrying in the faith. And I found I had a lot of success, and many of the spouses did either convert to Judaism or practice Judaism in their home. So Alex Rosen calls me and said, would I officiate at his wedding? I said, oh, absolutely. I said, Alex Rosen, are you related to Barry Rosen? He said, that's my father. I said, oh my God. He said, my father is Meshuggah. He's crazy. Here he was a hostage in Iran, and now he's in Afghanistan volunteering. And what happened was, and he said, I don't even know if my father's going to make it to the wedding. So comes the wedding, and the canopy over the bride and groom is called the chuppah. And a lot of times it's embroidered with the words, Ani lidodi, vidodi li, I am my beloved's and my beloved is mine. So when was Barry Rosen, the father of the groom, was in Afghanistan, he gave Afghan women a template, and they embroidered and sewed together a beautiful canopy with the Hebrew words, I am my beloved's and beloved is mine. And from that I learned there's just a beautiful saying in Judaism, Hazorin b'dim'ah, barina yiksoru. Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. And so everything can have a good ending. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening, and I welcome your questions and comments. Thank you. Yes, please. Not, yeah, she said, what did when the Iranians said the Jewish people have to behave, not advance any programs to defeat the autocracy. And, Iran is still governed by an autocracy. And it's people, I was asked, I think in the documentary, would I ever go back to Iran? And I said, why would I go back to Iran when they have the goal of annihilating Israel and my people? Maybe the young generation, it is changing a little bit. I met some Iranians who have, left Iran, and they work here in the United States to try to bring freedom to Iran. Yes, sir.
The group organized, how did this come about? I know you talked.
Sure.
And then you were mentioning that the one guy was criticizing the hostages, so there must have been some strong political beliefs.
Yeah, what happened was that Professor Foer, the professor from Kansas, had a lot of contacts, especially among the liberal clergy. And so he invited the liberal clergy and also leading people who are humanitarian, like a labor leader from California, a civil rights person. That's how it formed. And unfortunately, he invited Father Ruppapper, and that was almost could have been immeasurably damaging the morale of the hostages. And I feel, if no other reason, that Hashem, God, sent me there. It was to stop him from doing that.
Did anyone else step forward and say anything to him about his behavior?
No, no, everybody held back. I've been very outspoken in my life. For example, when I was a rabbi in Mount Vernon, there was an anti-Semitic incident where a business person put a sign in the public road, "Welcome Aryan Nation." And I remember I was on vacation in our summer home in Martha's Vineyard, and I came back and organized a unity march in Newburgh. It was a giant march to protest this. And that's me, because I was originally the founding rabbi of the temple in Dallas. Why I left Dallas is the people in Dallas, they just wanted me as the rabbi to pray and not to get involved with anything with social justice. So when they saw in the newspaper that I went to speak before the city council about poverty, Texas was 50th in the nation. And they saw that, they gave me a polite talk over Bloody Marys. Rabbi, just stick to, praying and leave the rest to us. And I couldn't do that. So that's why I went to Mount Vernon. Those are more my people. And a member of my temple who converted with me, who's a creative person in Hollywood, has won an Emmy and an Oscar. He worked with Steven Spielberg. He involved me in creating an anti-war documentary when I was in Mount Vernon. So that's me. And okay, so I came back from our vacation in the vineyard, and I formed this march in Newburgh. Thousands of people came, and the theme was never again. Because I believe that to be truly religious, especially in the Jewish tradition, the expression is tzedek, tzedek tirdof. Justice, justice shall you pursue. Or Micah says, what does the Lord require of you? To do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with the God. So the Jewish tradition is not to shy away from trying to correct injustice in the world. The Hebrew says, ubiyarta hara mikerbecha. You shall root out the evil from your midst, not turn the other face, but try to do something. And that's part of me as a rabbi. I've always been an activist. I feel I'm following my faith and my tradition. Yes. The reason is, I believe that the militants and the revolutionaries would milk the story for all it's worth, but they wouldn't incur the wrath of the world by damaging the hostages. Let me talk about actually one of the hostages, I told you, said they were pretty roughed up, and sometimes they were sort of put in solitary confinement, but they weren't going to kill them. No, that they would not do.
Did you feel that you were singled out at all because you were of the Jewish
Yeah.
faith?
I was wearing a yarmulke, and I felt that the revolutionaries and the imams had it in for me, and I could feel their seething hostility. And you know what they say today, their ultimate goal is the destruction of the Jewish people. And let me just say one word. It's such a tragedy what's happening in the Middle East. There's an expression in Hebrew, Shalom, Shalom, Yerushalayim, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. And I have amended that. And in my prayer, I say, Sha'alu Shalom Yerushalayim v'Gaza. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem and Gaza. Just horrific things are happening. And sadly, we're living in a world where people can't speak to each other, where there's such hatred in the world. I'm truly very worried about what kind of world there'll be for our children and our grandchildren, that it might be not recognizable. I hope that you or you guys or your friends might like to come tomorrow when I speak about my rescue from cancer. Um, it's just totally amazing what happened. I shouldn't be here. I know when I was I was one of the first patients in the world to be saved with the immunological drug interferon. And I would, as an experimental patient, I went back to Chicago many times. And I came to one of my visits, and one of the surgeons says, "Rabbi Jaffe?" I said, "Yes." He said, "You're not supposed to be here." And when I went home and I had to fix my car, and I called him a mechanic, he said, "Rabbi Jaffe, I heard you died." Ah, my teaching is, I have my website is marathonrabbi.com. On there, you'll see all my inspirational videos and my blogs, and also a link to the BBC documentary is on marathonrabbi.com. What I teach my followers is two things. Take care of your body because it's a precious gift. And the second is, no matter how much ritual you perform, as our philosopher and sage said, you cannot call yourself a religious or spiritual person, no matter how much ritual you observe, unless you're kind to other people. So to me, the heart of true religion is human goodness and decency, and it far surpasses denominational lines.
Indeed.
Thank you for being such attentive listeners.
Rabbi Jaffe, we have one comment in the chat. It says, "Thank you for freeing the hostages. There was great efforts, many in the U.S. to welcome them. For example, parades in hometowns, tying yellow ribbons around trees. Here at UF, as I recall, a Marine who had been held, was placed on the Gator football team as an honorary member, and his spouse worked at the UF library." So they just wanted to say thank you.
You. Yes, sir. It's a very good question. It's not just that. It's that I'm very troubled by by what's happening in Gaza. I think it's way over the top. I hope it stops. I hope and pray that it does. Um, and because if we're not, I mean, Israel was established to be not just a state of Israel and a homeland for the Jewish people, but to try to follow in the ethics of the Jewish people. And I'm not afraid to criticize from my pulpit when I think they've gone wrong. And I can tell you that many Israelis are split, and they feel that what's happening is very wrong and should be stopped. This wonderful library, it's just fabulous. They showed me all these ancient manuscripts, and it's just the greatest Judaica library I've ever seen. It's a wonderful gift. Yes. Uh, I do. I have the slides that I took, the mementos. Oh, for example, I took slides. You know, the Americans were very supportive of the Shah, and the Shah was not a nice person. He was a very bad man, and we should never should have done that. And for example, we were taken to see the Shah's sister's $50 million palace in the midst of poverty, and I could see the people in Tehran. Some of them were living in huts, and that's wrong. We shouldn't have a world like that. Everybody should be lifted up, in my opinion. I mean, there's so much. Just to talk about one thing that I believe very strongly, I think that every person in the United States of America is entitled to health care, but nobody should be excluded. Yes, sir.
As you circulated any curious or empathetic toward why you're there, Brotherhood approached us in expressing curiosity about what our views are. Then, you know, they have no idea what's presented to us. They only know that their life has all these borders around it. Did you come across anybody that was just wanting to engage in a conversation?
Yes, actually, I was invited to meet. The largest contingent of Iranians is Los Angeles. There are about 300,000. Second most is Great Neck, New York. I met with the Iranian American Resolution Commission, members of the Iranian community who are trying to bring about justice in Iran and democracy. And I met with them. And, you know, I think it'll happen, but it'll be when the young generation finally asserts itself. And when do I think there'll be peace in the Middle East? Not for a long time. I'll tell you a story about peace in the Middle East. I won a scholarship when I was in rabbinical school for a year at the Hebrew University. And my roommate was an Israeli war hero. He was a paratrooper who was machine gunned, hovered between life and death for months. He was my tough Israeli roommate. And when I told him I was studying to be a rabbi, he kind of laughed because he grew up in an atheist kibbutz. But of course, he was a wonderful friend. And when I became very sick, he nursed me, you know, because Sabers have a soft inside. And we've been friends for 60 years. And for years, he never acknowledged that I was a rabbi or anything Jewish. And about 10 years ago, Gideon, that was his name, underwent a transformation. And he started to say in his emails, "Good Shabbos, Rabbi. May God watch over you." And I realized he had undergone a transformation. You can't believe what Gideon Kressel is doing now from being the militant Israeli. He's part of a movement of Arabs and Jews to bring about reconciliation. So yes, there's a little bit, we call ourselves, tomorrow I'm going to tell a story about hopefulness and a patient in the hospital, but the Jewish people never gives up hope, even though we've suffered so much. We call ourselves in Hebrew, Asirei Tikva, prisoners of hope. And I never felt that, I'll tell about tomorrow, when I was diagnosed with this rare leukemia, and my daughter looked up at the doctors and said, "Is my daddy going to die?" All I thought of was, what can I do to live? And what I try to teach, I speak to senior citizens. And people, senior citizens are more depressed, that are doing anything worthwhile. They're just spinning their wheels. And what do I try to encourage my followers is, no matter how old you are, do something of kindness. Never mind Facebook. How about a personal call, a visit? How about keeping in touch with old friends? That's what I've tried to do. Uh, find my old friends and reunite with them. And I think life is really with people.
He's done that with me. I
Thank you.
haven't seen the rabbi in 25 years because I moved away and he retired, but we have stayed in touch very closely over the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And I'm just so thrilled to have you
Thank
here.
you, Laura. Thank you for coming, everybody. Thank you.